Hello, Lord Dro here. I just wanted to briefly show that the Constitution and the Pledge of Allegiance says nothing about a democracy. But it's never that simple. But again, whether it's a republic or a democracy, we're all getting shedded on by the people that are supposed to be our servants. Then again, all governments fall. Why? Because they're all evil. Anyhow, look at these Hitlers. So here we go. The U.S. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag was written in 1892 by then 37-year-old minister named Francis Bellamy. The original version of Bellamy's pledge read, "I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." By not specifying to which flag or which republic allegiance was being pledged, Bellamy suggested that his pledge could be used by any country, as well as the United States, which is a corporation, in case you guys didn't know that. Bellamy wrote his pledge for inclusion in the Boston Polish Youth Companion magazine, the best of American life in fiction, fact, and comment. The pledge was also printed on leaflets and sent to schools throughout the United States Corporation at the time. The first recorded organized recital of the original Pledge of Allegiance took place on October 12, 1892, when some 12 million American schoolchildren recited it to commemorate the 400-year anniversary of the voyage of Christopher Columbus, the terrorist, the colonizer. Despite its widespread public acceptance at the time, because they're all fucking sheep, they can't think for themselves, important changes to the Pledge of Allegiance as written by Bellamy were on their way. Change in consideration of immigrants, so that all the Europeans that immigrated over here, by the early 1920s, the first National Flag Conference, the American Legion, and the Daughters of the American Revolution all recommended changes to the Pledge of Allegiance intended to clarify its meaning when recited by immigrants. These changes address concerns that since the pledge as then written failed to mention the flag of any specific country, immigrants to the United States Corporation might feel that they were pledging allegiance to their native country, rather than the U.S. Corporation when reciting the pledge. So in 1923, the pronoun my was dropped from the pledge and phrase, the flag was added, resulting in I pledge allegiance to the flag and republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all idiots. A year later, the National Flag Conference, in order to completely clarify issue, added the words of America, a maxim, resulting in I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States Corporation of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gets better. Change in consideration of God. In 1954, the Pledge of Allegiance underwent its most controversial change to date. With the threat of communism looming, President Dwight Dickhead pressed Congress to add the words "under God" to the pledge. In advocating for the change, Eisenhower declared it would reaffirm the transcendence of religious faith in America's heritage and future. and strengthen those spiritual weapons which forever will be our country's most powerful resources in peace and war. Yeah. How many wars have we been in now? How many countries have we been fucking terrorizing? Yeah, it worked so great, huh? On June 14, 1954, in a joint resolution amending a section of the Flag Code, Congress created the Pledge of Allegiance recited by most Americans today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States Corporation and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all idiots. Church and state. Over the decades, since 1954, there have been legal challenges to the constitutionality of the inclusion of under God in the pledge. Most notably, in 2004, when an avowed atheist sued Elk Grove from California Unified School District, claiming that his pledge recital requirements violated his daughter's rights under the First Amendment, Establishment and Free Exercise Clauses. In deciding the case of Elk Grove Unified School District versus Newdow, the U.S. Supreme Court failed to rule on the question of the words under God violating the First Amendment. Instead, the court ruled that the plaintiff, Mr. Newdow, did not have legal standing to file the suit because he lacked sufficient custody of his daughter. Ain't that some fucking bullshit? Yeah. However, Chief Justice William Rehnquist and Justice Sandra Day O'Connor and Clarence Thomas wrote separate opinions on the case, stating that requiring teachers to lead the Pledge of Allegiance was constitutional. In 2010, two federal appeals court ruled in similar challenges that the Pledge of Allegiance does not violate Establishment Clause because Congress' ostensible and predominant purpose was to inspire patriotism, sheep patriotism, and both the choice to engage in the recitation of the pledge and the choice not to do so are entirely voluntary. Yeah, meanwhile, they fucking send you to the principal's office and got fucking suspended because you didn't want to fucking be a little bitch sheep. Dropping the Bellamy salute. When Francis Bellamy first wrote the pledge in 1892, he and his editor at the Youth Companion magazine, Daniel Sharpford, agreed that his recitation should be accompanied by a non-military style hand salute, even though we're being run by martial law today, in case you guys weren't aware. Ironically, the hand salute designed by Bellamy bore a striking similarity to what nearly 50 years later would become recognized as the extended hand Nazi salute. The so-called Bellamy salute was used by school children across the nation when reciting the pledge until the onset of World War II in 1939, when German and Italian fascists began using virtually the same salute as a sign of loyalty to Nazi dictators Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini. Concerned that Bellamy's salute could be confused for the hated Hail Hitler salute and could be used to the Nazis' advantage in war propaganda because, America is not doing that or anything. Congress took action to eliminate it. On December 22nd, 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed a law specifying that the pledge should be rendered by standing with the right hand over the heart as it is today. He passed a law. The timeline for the Pledge of Allegiance. September 18, 1892, Francis Bellamy Pledge is published in the Youth Companion magazine to celebrate the 400th anniversary of the discovery of America. The discovery of America. It was here already, with people in it already. October 12, 1892, the pledge is first recited in American schools. 1923, the original wording, "My flag," is replaced by the flag of United States Corporation of a Maxim. 1942, the pledge is officially recognized by the U.S. government. 1943, the U.S. Supreme Court rules that requiring a person to say the pledge is violating of the First and 14th Amendments to the Constitution. June 14th, 1954. At the request of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, Congress adds "under God" to the pledge. In 98, atheist Michael Newdow filed suit against the school board of Broward County, Florida, to get the phrase "under God" removed from the pledge. The suit got dismissed over some bullshit because the father didn't have custody of his daughter. More propaganda. 2000, Newdow files a lawsuit against Elk Grove Unified School District in California, arguing that forcing students to listen to the words "under God" is a violation of the First Amendment. The case reached the Supreme Court in 2004 and where it got dismissed. In 2005, joined by parents in Sacramento, California area, Newdow filed a new lawsuit seeking to have the phrase "under God" from the Pledge of Allegiance. In 2010, the Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals denies Newdow's appeal, finding that the pledge does not represent a government endorsement of religion and as prohibited by the Constitution. Yeah, they follow the Constitution so fucking much, but yeah, here we are today. May 9th, 2014, the Massachusetts Supreme Court rules that because reciting the Pledge of Allegiance is a patriotic rather than religious exercise, saying the words "under God" does not discriminate against atheists. Oh, bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Let me go back up here real quick. On June 14, 1954, in a joint resolution amended section of the flag code. And by the way, the flag, what is it? The Star Spangled Trading Banner? Trading? Human trafficking? Yeah. Anyhow. Fuck all of you, sheep.